Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the K. Lisa Yang ICoN Center Symposium. So the question that we're talking about today and discussing is one of the oldest in biology and also, to my mind, one of the strangest. How the human brain, with its roughly 100 trillion synapses, arises from a few undifferentiated cells and from a human genome of about 3 billion bases to become a precision instrument that is capable of thought and perception and action. Somehow the genome's carrying a set of programs which, when run in a developing embryo, produce a brain. No one has read that whole program, and today we're here to be able to hear from the people who are trying to read the program. So just briefly to tell you about who we are, the K. Lisa Yang Integrative Computational Neuroscience Center, also known as ICoN, was founded at MIT in 2021. And it was built around the conviction that understanding the brain means that we build models that can reach from molecules and cells and come up to the level of function and behavior. ICoN is the third Yang-Tan Center at MIT, and it's an integral part of the broader Yan-Tang Collective, which is itself dedicated to accelerating collaborations that improve both scientific progress and improve human well-being at a global scale. Lisa Yang, our founder of the centers and the Yang-Tan Collective, has boldly committed to theory and computation as a central tool in the effort to understand the brain, and I'm grateful for that bold vision. So today's speakers work on a very diverse set of systems, probably that have never before appeared in the same program. We've got flies, we've got jellyfish, ferrets, primates, mathematical tessellations, and organoids. So somewhere in that wide range, somewhere between the fly's genome, which specifies nearly all the wiring of the fly, and to the ferret, where the cortex builds a lot of its structure based on spontaneous activity and self-organization in the dark, the question is probably answered of how genetics and self-organization are together collaborating, nature and nurture together to play out the developmental program. So the role of theory in all of this is to bridge between, the molecules which may set the role for development and then its downstream consequences, right? Just as we know that a molecule of water, and if we know even its molecular composition and the shape and other properties of a water molecule, and we know about interactions between pairs of water molecules, it's not sufficient, that knowledge is not sufficient to then predict properties of water, like that it flows and that the density of solid water or ice is lower than cold water. Right? Similarly, knowing the rules and the genetic components that specify these rules is not sufficient to know the consequences of those developmental rules because of the process of emergence and self-organization. And so the idea is that theory can play a role in bridging between these different scales and these different levels, and development is just one of the most exciting fields, I would say, as a non-developmental neuroscientist, on the scene today. So the idea is that if we recover these rules, then the consequences can go further than just understanding them. We can think about neurodevelopmental disorders as the program running with its genetically specified parameters may be mistuned or perturbed. We can also think from a perspective of progress in artificial intelligence these days, as artificial intelligence being differently conceived, because instead of starting from scratch to train a network, you start from a structured network, and that's a very different kind of thing, right? So once we have the programs that can build brains, we can imagine that we can be in a position to run those programs. And we're doing this already in this field in the form of organoids, which are trying to run these developmental programs in artificial systems. And we're also can be in this position to run these programs in artificial neural networks and start from a structured system to then learn how to learn more efficiently. So thank you to all our speakers and to all of you for coming and being here at this busy time of the end of the semester.